All right, so it's been a long time since I did the last one. I've actually got another one recorded before this, and I don't know why I didn't put it on the channel. So today we're going to be going through the rest of the list, the top 100 best rappers of all time. I'm going to try to do this one a little bit quicker as we get into the top, basically the last 60 that are on the list. Actually, I might split this one back into 20s since I probably have a little bit more to say on the top 10, even 20 list. So we'll see how it goes. But we're going to jump right into this one. Put the screenshot right up here, and we'll start going through this last list. I don't remember where I stopped on the last one. I was trying to look at the video, so we're just going to hit it right at 60 and go right down through 40, if not 30. Coming in on this one is Tech Nine. Now, Tech Nine, I'm glad that they're showing him some love. I haven't seen the rest of the list, but I'm glad Tech Nine is on this list. Dude is incredible. He's been spitting fire for years. Seems a little low on this one, but again, I don't know the rest of the list. Coming in at 59 is Kool Keith. Definitely a good one in there. Kool Keith, I think, is, I think he might be a little high. And some people are going to call me crazy for saying that one. Kool Keith is absolutely legend. I think a lot of people don't really know his material. So I would definitely say, definitely Google Kool Keith, get on Spotify, whatever you're listening to, and check his catalog out. Snoop Dogg at 58. This one, I think, is definitely pretty low. I would put Snoop a little bit higher. I don't know if I would go too much higher on Snoop. I see a lot of people putting Snoop in their top 10 and definitely top 20 list. For me personally, just as a rapper overall, I've definitely put Snoop very high in my list. But if you're doing an overall list, I don't know that you put Snoop in like a top rappers ever, just because a lot of his songs were written by, I wouldn't say a lot of songs, but there are songs that were written by other people. I know Dre Day was written by Jay-Z. Not that Snoop has a lot of ghostwriters doing any of his stuff, but aside from Doggy Style, maybe The Dogfather and a few songs kind of outside of that one, Snoop's catalog is not that great. He's got some incredible songs. And like I said, Snoop is in my top 20 for sure, just as a rapper in general. But as an overall list, as far as like MCing anything like that, he might be a little high for some top 20 lists. But this one, jumping into 57 is J. Cole. Now this one, probably a little low on this one. J. Cole definitely, I would think he'd be a little bit higher on this list. But again, we're getting into the top 60 of all time. I am a J. Cole fan, not a giant fan, so I really can't comment. I would say he's probably a little bit higher, probably deserving of a little bit higher than 57 in this list. Guru from Gangstar, absolutely a huge Gangstar fan. Guru, definitely like seeing him in this top. Fonte, I will say I'm not familiar with Fonte's I'm not familiar with his catalog at all, so I really can't speak on this one at all. Inspectah Deck is definitely one. Again, I'm glad they put him on this list. I'm glad they put him up somewhat high on this list. Inspectah Deck from the Wu-Tang Clan, definitely, I would say now more than even years ago, 10, 20 years ago when they were coming out. He was definitely getting praise, but Inspectah Deck is definitely getting his flowers today. Especially with people are going back through, starting to kind of recognize his genius from back in the Wu days. And again, with his stuff with Czarface, he's really coming into his own and definitely standing out. MC8. MC8 is, I'm surprised to see him above some of the people that are on here, especially, if we're looking at MCs. And again, I don't know what they're basing this off of. MC8 seems a little high on this one. Putting him technically above Tech Nine is a little odd to me. I love MC8. Big fan of his ever since he came out. He might be a little high on this list. Corrupt, definitely deserving on this list. Corrupt probably should go a little bit higher. His work with Dre, Snoop, Dog Pound, anything like that, definitely gets him a spot on this list. Again, I would probably put Corrupt a little bit higher. T.I. is one of my favorites. King of the South. This guy is incredible. Again, I'd probably put him a little bit higher, but again, I hate always saying this. We don't know where the rest of this list is going. Killer Mike, absolutely incredible. Big fan of Killer Mike, especially with his new run. His new album is awesome. His current run with Run the Jewels is absolutely incredible. Definitely a good person to have on this list. And Up High, which is what I like. Big L is another one that Again, huge Big L fan. And I was about to say his placement might be a little high, but I think this is probably good for Big L. I see a lot of people put him in a top 20 list, which I can see why somebody would put him in a top 20 list. Just what he came out with in his short time is absolutely incredible. But again, he has such a short catalog, or such a small catalog, which is not his fault. I mean, he passed early, which is really unfortunate. But again, you almost have to kind of not really hold it against a rapper. But I mean, I find it hard to put rappers with only an album or two with limited catalog. And I even say this with Biggie, and I hate to say that, but the lack of catalog has to work against somebody at some point. If other people's catalogs, like Ice Cube has released so many albums, and he's got 4 like straight classics, and then he's got a couple bombs, and those work against him. So if catalogs, releasing too much is working against you, releasing too little has got to work against you also. Rock Marciano, definitely somebody I like a lot. I don't know if I would put Rock Marciano above some of these other ones. Again, I like Rock Marciano a lot, but again, not far off from probably where I would place him anyway. Royce da 5'9", another one, very good. Like to see him high up on the list. I think he's another rapper that gets, unless you're talking to hip hop heads, he definitely gets kind of thrown under the radar a little bit more than he should. Lyrically, the guy is a beast. Coming in at 46 is Gift of Gab. Another one that not very familiar with the content or the catalog at all. So I would honestly have to go back in and listen. I know if I popped up some of the songs, I would probably recognize some of them. So again, I can't really speak on this one. Pharoah Monch is another one. Very good. Honestly, to see him above some of these other people is a little shocking to me. Pharoah Monch has some incredible songs, great catalog. Lyrically, the guy is incredible. But for me, I'd probably switch around some of those people that we just mentioned before him. 44, the GZA. GZA and the Liquid Swords album is probably one of my favorite albums of all time. It's easily in a top 5 for me, with Midnight Marauders easily in my top 5. Liquid Swords is probably my favorite Wu-Tang as a collab album, or just in the Wu-Tang family. Even though I think Ghostface is probably my number 1 from Wu-Tang, Liquid Swords is easily my favorite album from any Wu-Tang member. 43 is going to be Styles P. Styles P, I like that one. Again, I like seeing Styles up in the list. Definitely getting his flowers. Lox is incredible. I would probably say good placement on that one. And again, within like the last 10 or 15, you could kind of move those people around just a little bit, and I think you'd still have a great list and be hard pressed not to kind of fight for their spot in that list. So I like that one. LP at 42, absolutely incredible. Love LP. Seeing him above Killer Mike is I'm surprised on that one. Usually people will put Killer Mike above LP. I'm a huge fan of LP from way back in the day, even up till now with the Run the Jewels stuff. Absolutely incredible. Ludacris at 41, definitely. I'm glad to see Ludacris up high on this list. This is a guy that, again, I hate to say goes under the radar, but when you start to think of top rapper list, Ludacris is always one of the guys that kind of gets pushed to the side, or he's kind of an afterthought until somebody mentions him. But Ludacris is absolutely incredible. Lyrically, I don't think the guy gets enough credit for what he does, but definitely well-deserving, especially up once you get into the, like, now that we're in the 40s. Definitely a rapper I love seeing in there. All right, so that pretty much wraps this one up. I was going to try to take this one up into 30, but the video's stretching a little bit long, so I think I might cut this one off and we'll go into a second one so this video doesn't end up being 20 minutes. All right, so stay tuned for the next episode. We're going to be jumping into 40 through 20.